It was early January when our town got its first heavy snowfall of the year, the kind that makes everything look softer, quieter, cleaner. Our neighborhood was one of those places where everyone knew each other by sight, and the kids would spend entire days outside building forts, sledding, and rolling snowmen. That afternoon, my two kids, Max, 8, and Lily, 6, were bundled up and playing in the front yard, piling snow into big uneven spheres, laughing and yelling about whose snowman would be taller. I was watching from the living room window while making hot chocolate. That's when I noticed him. A man, early 50s, tall, wearing a dirty beige winter coat that looked almost older than he was. No gloves, no hat, just walking slowly down the street. At first, I thought he was just out for a walk, but he stopped right in front of our yard, and he watched the kids, not smiling, not interacting normally, just watching, too still, too intent. Max noticed him first and gave that friendly kid wave. The man stepped closer, not onto the property, but near enough. I opened the window just a crack to hear. "You two make good snowmen," the man said. His voice was soft, almost gentle. "Do you live here? Is it just you two?" I felt my stomach tighten. Max answered before I could intervene. "Yep, our mum's inside. Want to help?" The man didn't respond to the offer. He just stared at them, specifically at Lily, like he was studying something. Lily asked, "Where's your house?" The man's eyes didn't shift. "Oh, I live close," he said. That's when I stepped outside. I didn't yell, but my tone was sharp. "Can I help you?" He looked at me like he'd been caught doing something shameful. His face went a little pink. "Just admiring their work," he mumbled. "They're lovely children." Then he turned around and walked away. Not rushed, not apologetic, just walked. I told the kids to come inside. They didn't understand what the big deal was. I didn't want to frighten them, so I let it go. But that night, I looked out the front window. There were footprints in the snow, leading right up to the kids' snowmen. Not from earlier. Fresh ones. Closer. Like someone had stood there, in the dark, just looking at the house. About 4 days later, we woke up to dog feces smeared in a thick streak through our letterbox, like someone forced it through on purpose. We cleaned it up, disgusted, angry, but maybe just a prank? Then a week later, around 2 a.m., a brick was thrown through the kitchen window. No one saw who did it. No cars sped away. Just silence afterward. The police came, but they were limited. Couldn't do anything without proof. My husband, Dave, was furious now. He stayed up late every night, watching from the front room with the lights off. Nothing happened. Until one night. Around 1:40 a.m., he saw a figure standing at the edge of the driveway. That same man, coat, no hat, perfectly still. Dave went outside without a word. I watched from the window. The man didn't run, didn't flinch. I couldn't hear their words, but their body language said everything. Dave pointed, shouting. The man stepped closer. Dave shoved him. The man lunged. They struggled, not wildly, but tightly, close. The man was stronger than he looked. He got an arm around Dave's neck and shoved him onto the driveway hard, his head hitting ice with a crack so loud I felt it. I screamed and ran outside. The man stepped back, breathing heavily like he was considering finishing it, but instead, he turned and walked away into the dark, just like before. No rush, no fear, just gone. We went to the hospital. Dave needed stitches and a neck brace. This time, the police took it seriously. They found the man's apartment 2 streets away. Inside, they found rope, blankets, a lockbox full of kids' hair accessories, Polaroid photos of children from different neighborhoods, maps of school routes. He was planning something. He was always planning something. But the apartment was empty. He'd fled. They never caught him. 1 year later, another January, another snowfall. The kids were older now, wiser in ways I wish they weren't. We never spoke about that winter, not in front of them. The snow fell overnight, thick and quiet. When I went out to get the mail, there was an envelope, no stamp, no return address, just left there. My hands were shaking before I even opened it. Inside was a single sheet of paper. No greeting, just, "Your children are growing beautifully. They remember me. I'll see them in the snow." There were no footprints leading to our door, but I don't sleep much anymore, and I haven't let the kids play outside in the snow since. Three winters ago, I was driving alone through rural Wyoming, heading back to school after the holidays. It was supposed to be a 4-hour trip. I'd driven that road dozens of times, long open stretches, no towns, just empty plains and sky. But that day, the weather changed fast. The light snowfall turned into heavy flakes. Then the wind picked up. Within minutes, visibility dropped to almost zero. The horizon disappeared. The road disappeared. Everything outside the windshield was just white, like driving inside a snow globe someone kept shaking. The car tires slid once, then again, and then the check engine light came on. I tried to stay calm, but the temperature gauge climbed, and the engine began making this deep, grinding noise. Then, it just gave out, all at once, no sputtering, just dead. I coasted to a stop in what I hoped was still the center of the road. I tried my phone. No service. The wind was howling like it had voices in it. The windows were fogging and frosting from the inside. The cold was coming in fast. I remembered something from a survival article. Don't leave the car. That's how people get disoriented and freeze. So I stayed put. I wrapped myself in whatever I could find, a hoodie, a blanket from the trunk, and just tried to breathe slow. About 20 minutes passed. That's when I saw headlights through the white. They were faint at first, just a pale glow pushing through the storm, but they were moving toward me. I felt this rush of relief so strong I almost cried. A truck pulled up behind me, engine running. It sat there for a few seconds. Then the driver's side door opened. A man stepped down, heavy boots, thick canvas coat, hood pulled up tight. He walked through the blizzard like he knew exactly where he was stepping. No hesitation, no struggle, like the storm wasn't affecting him at all. He approached my window and knocked. One single knuckle tap. Not friendly, not aggressive, just direct. I cracked the window an inch to talk. He leaned close. "You stranded?" he asked. His voice was calm, too calm, no emotion, like he had practiced the tone. "Yeah," I said. "Car died, no signal." He nodded slowly. His eyes didn't leave mine. "You'll freeze in there," he said, no warning in his voice, just a statement. "I've got heat in the truck. I can take you somewhere warm, not far." Everything he said was reasonable. Everything about him was wrong. I tried to force a friendly tone. I should probably stay with the vehicle, just in case someone comes by. His expression didn't change, not even a blink. "Nobody's coming," he said. "The road's closed 10 miles back." I hadn't seen any sign. No barricades, no flashing lights, just him. I felt my heartbeat in my throat. He continued, "If you stay in the car, you'll fall asleep. Easy. You'll never wake up." His voice didn't sound like a warning. It sounded like a prediction. I didn't answer. He stood there for a long time, just watching me through that small opening in the window. No impatience, no irritation, just waiting to see what I'd decide. And that was the moment I noticed something. The front of his truck, the hood, the windshield, the grille. There was no snow on it. At all. Not a flake. Like it hadn't been driving through the storm. Like it had just been sitting there, waiting. My fingers tightened on the steering wheel without me meaning to. "I'll wait here," I finally said. "Thank you." The storm screamed around us. He didn't move. He didn't argue. He just stared at me through the glass. His eyes stayed locked onto mine like he was memorizing something. Then, in a voice that was almost quiet enough to get lost in the wind, he said, I've seen people after a night like this. A pause. Frost on the inside of the windows. Nails broken from clawing at the glass. He wasn't trying to scare me. He was telling me what he expected to happen. He stepped back slowly, turned, walked to his truck. He got in. The truck didn't move at first. It just idled behind me, headlights shining into my rear window. I sat there, staring straight ahead, gripping the wheel so tight my hands ached. After what felt like forever, the truck pulled away. It didn't speed up. It didn't slide. It moved smoothly into the white and disappeared like it had never been there at all. I sat in that car shaking, counting my breaths for what must have been hours. Eventually, a highway patrol convoy came through, clearing the road. They towed my car and drove me back into town. I told the officer what happened. His expression didn't change, but he asked one question. Did the man say he had a place nearby? I nodded. The officer exhaled slowly, like he'd heard this before. We've been looking for whoever's been doing that, he said. 3 vehicles were found abandoned after storms this month. What happened to the drivers? I asked. He didn't answer. He didn't need to. It was supposed to be a 3-hour drive, a quick trip, nothing special. Then the snowstorm hit. The sky disappeared, the road vanished, and visibility dropped to almost nothing. I could barely see my own headlights. The only building for miles was an old gas station. One of those single pump, flickering light, middle of nowhere places. The lights were on. The door was unlocked, but the store was empty. No clerk, no sound. Just a faint ringing bell coming from the back room, repeating every few seconds like something brushing against it rhythmically. I called out, no answer. Then I noticed something on the floor behind the counter. Coats. 6 of them. They looked like they'd been ripped off bodies in a single violent motion, inside-out sleeves, gloves still attached, hats crushed underneath. Not placed, not folded, dropped, like the people wearing them just vanished mid-movement. I should have left right then, but the storm was impossible to drive through. I waited behind the register, trying to stay calm. Around 1:30 a.m., the bell rang again, but the door didn't open. The coats on the floor shifted, not blown, not moved. They rose, just slightly, as if something inside them was filling back in. Something without bones, something deciding how to wear a human shape. I bolted. I didn't care if I crashed, slid off the road, froze. Any fate was better than waiting to see what those coats looked like when they stood up. The storm eventually cleared. I made it home, but now, every winter, I see them. Along highways, on sidewalk benches, leaning against trees. Winter coats. Upright, still, waiting for someone to put them on. Last winter, I was asked to look after my uncle's cabin while he spent a few months down south. The cabin is in the middle of open land, just rolling snowfields surrounded by forest. The kind of place where silence actually has a sound to it. The first big snowfall came overnight. When I woke up the next morning, everything outside was untouched, smooth, perfect. I remember thinking it looked like the world had been erased while I slept. Then, I noticed them. Footprints, bare footprints. They started way out near the tree line. Not like someone had wandered around or gotten lost. These were in a perfectly straight line. Wide, evenly spaced steps, and they led directly up to the front door. But there were no prints going back. Whoever, or whatever, made them just stopped there. I opened the door just enough to see the last 2 impressions. The toes were spread, like the person was standing there for a while, watching, thinking. The next morning, I woke up at almost the exact same time. More footprints, a fresh line, same pattern, same direction, but this time they circled the house. And again, no returning prints. I tried to distract myself by shoveling, cooking, reading, anything, and eventually I convinced myself maybe animals or wind or melting snow made them look human. That night, I went to bed early just to make the day end. Around 2 inches the morning, I woke up to the sound of snow crunching outside my window. Slow steps, steady, deliberate, right beneath my bedroom. I couldn't bring myself to look. The curtain was thin. If I looked out and something was looking back, I don't know what I would have done. The next morning, I checked. The footprints were there, pressed right up to the wall of the cabin where I slept. Not walking by, standing, for a long time. I bought a trail camera that day and mounted it facing the porch. I waited, wide awake the whole night. The next morning, same footprints. The camera recorded nothing. It wasn't malfunctioning. It didn't miss motion. There was just no moment where anything appeared. It was like something arrived only when I was asleep, like it needed me unaware. Last night was the worst. I woke up to tapping on the front door. Slow, rhythmic, patient. No storm, no wind, just cold silence. Then the tapping stopped, and I heard breathing through the door. On the other side of it, long, controlled, like someone trying to stay quiet. I sat in the dark until morning, clutching a kitchen knife. When the sun came up, I opened the door. There were footprints again. But now, there weren't just one set. There were 4, all facing the door, all standing there, all waiting. When the blizzard hit, we lost everything. Power, heat, phone signal, even the roads disappeared. My mum always kept a battery-powered radio for emergencies, so we sat in the dark listening for weather updates. Every station was dead static, except one. A slow, calm male voice spoke continuously. No music, no ads. Do not look outside. Keep your windows covered. Do not respond to them. The voice didn't change tone or inflection. It sounded automated, but slightly off, like a real person trying to imitate a recording. My mum turned the radio off, uncomfortable. Around midnight, I began hearing voices outside. Not yelling, just talking, conversational, but wrong. They spoke like they were learning to imitate speech, repeating words, reusing phrases, shuffling them around, as if they were practicing. I tried to peek through the living room curtains, just a sliver. My mum slapped my hand away instantly. We sat quietly, listening. Then, something touched the window. Not knocked, not scraped. It placed its hand flat against the glass. I could hear the cold through it. The next morning, no footprints, no disturbances in the snow, nothing that should have been possible. That night, the radio turned back on by itself, the same calm voice, but this time, it was whispering. They know you heard them. Do not acknowledge them again. Do not look at their faces. They are waiting for you to look. I asked my mum what they were. She didn't answer. She just stared at the window, frozen, like she was remembering something. The voices came back the next night, closer. Some were right outside the front door, some near the back bedroom, surrounding the house, repeating the same word over and over. Inside, inside, inside. The radio came on again, but this time it sounded panicked. Do not open your eyes. Whatever happens, do not open your eyes. I heard the front door open. I squeezed my eyes shut. Something walked inside. Its footsteps were light, careful, slow, like it was learning how to move. It stood right over me, breathing, mimicking my breath, perfectly. When I opened my eyes in the morning, the house was empty. My mum was gone. The snow by the door was perfectly smooth. No footprints, inside or out.